everyone. Welcome to Wednesday. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're enjoying your week. I have seen a couple pictures of some people who've done their packets with some fun lion pillows that got finished. Very fun. Good job, guys. I hope that you're continuing to enjoy some of those fun activities in the bag. Coming up in August, we're going to have another one with a different story, and it should be fun too. So, we have got another missionary story today. We haven't done missionary story in a couple weeks. And so we're going to jump right in. I'm going to preface with a question before we read our story. Have you ever had something that you really just don't want to do? Like, you're done. You don't want to do this, but feels like maybe you should. Alright, so the name of this story is She Changed Her Mind. I will never be a missionary. Never, never, cried Ida Scudder. I am going to stay in America, where it is clean and comfortable. I will have a good job, and I will make plenty of money. I am never going back to India. Ida's parents were missionaries to India. So was her grandfather, and 6 of her uncles and many of her cousins had chosen to work for the Lord among the poor people of India, but not Ida. She hated India. The dirt and the heat and the flies, she couldn't stand it. Now that Ida had been sent to school in America, she was determined she would never return. But God had other plans for Ida. Just before she was to graduate from school, an urgent message came. Her mother was ill and she needed to come at once. I must go to her, Ida decided. But as soon as she is well again, I am leaving. I am never staying in India. She boarded a ship, and in days she was back at the mission, amid the dust and heat and the poverty she remembered. She helped her father in the mission and helped to care for her mother. I will be coming home soon, she wrote to a friend sitting at her desk. Soon I will be back in America when there aren't so many bugs, she thought. And suddenly she heard soft footsteps on the porch outside her window. At her door, the footsteps stopped. She heard someone cough. She picked up her lamp and went to the door. A young Hindu man stood there. Lady, will you please come and help my wife? He begged. She is dying and needs a doctor. I am sorry, Ida said. I am not a doctor. My father is one. I will take you to him at once. And the young man drew back. No, we are high-born Hindus, and no man has ever looked upon my wife's face. I want you to come. My wife would rather die than see a man doctor. I don't know anything about medicine. I am so sorry. I cannot help her. The young man walked away sad into the night. Sadly, Ida returned to her letter writing, but could think of nothing else to say. And then again, she heard more footsteps. She jumped and went to the door, hoping that it was the man who was returning. But there stood another well-dressed man, bowing politely before. May Allah give you peace, madam, he said. My wife is very ill, and I have come to ask you to visit her. I heard that you are a new doctor from America. Another one, Ida thought. I am not a doctor. My father is a doctor. I will call him, and he will come along, and I will help him. No, ma'am, that would not be possible. My religion forbids women to be seen by men outside their own family. I will not bring her a doctor who is a man. Ida ran to her room and closed the door. Oh, I wish I were far away from India, where the people aren't so stubborn and ignorant. As she was preparing to go to bed later, there came a third knock. This time, the man standing there, she knew. The father of a child who came to the mission kindergarten. His wife was a pretty young girl, no older than Ida was. Please, lady, the man stammered. Will you please come and bring medicine for my wife? She is burning with fever. I am not a doctor. I would not know what to do for her. Let me call my father. But she knew, before the man even opened his mouth, what he would say, that he would not let his wife near another man. It had to be a woman. If you will not help her, she will die. The man was sad as he went down the steps into darkness. Ida slowly returned to bed, but could not sleep. How could this happen 3 times in one evening? Was God calling her like he had called Samuel in the night? If I were a doctor, Ida thought, I could save the lives of many women and girls here in India. They need a woman doctor to stop all this suffering. Early the next morning, Ida sent a servant to find out what had happened to the 3 women. They had all died. All dead? Ida was devastated. She went back to her room and knelt in prayer. God has called me and I must obey, she decided. I will study to be a doctor, and I can work for the Lord here in India. With a light in her heart, Ida went to her parents with her decision. How pleased they would be. Now, this lady, in this story, her name was Ida Scudder. Ida Scudder spent the rest of her life working in hospitals in India, taking care of the people. The hospital that she worked in became one of the greatest medical centers of all Asia. She taught the people of India by her words and deeds that God is love. Miss Eden got a little emotional about that one, didn't I? My goodness. Woo! It's the heat. It's not my eyes. I think that is so cool, right? Don't you think that's neat? There was something that she did not want to do, but she felt that little tug inside, didn't she? Sometimes we feel that little tug, and it's not necessarily about big things, like big life decisions like that, but sometimes we feel that little tug, and that's God saying, hey, I think this is a good choice. Maybe when you go back to school, there'll be a situation where God will little tap on your heart and say, hey, that person might need a friend. Or maybe you could help that person. Or even, it doesn't even have to be at school. It could be in your neighborhood. It could be at your pool if you go to a pool. Or any situation like that. Or when you make a bad decision, sometimes God taps on your heart and says, hey, let's make the right choice. Right? And I think that's a pretty cool story. Ida Scudder is a missionary that Jenny has read about. She has a whole book just about Ida Scudder. So, that she really enjoyed reading. I hope that you enjoy our missionary stories. I think they're pretty cool. It's neat to hear how God worked through other people and helped them to ultimately help other people. It's pretty cool, isn't it? I hope that you guys are doing well. I hope that you will hang in there. And I will see you all again on Sunday. Take care.